Hello everyone and welcome, my name is vAaron, and today we're going to be discussing which loadout is going to be better to work on if you can only work on one. We're going to see which one is the most viable between AoE and between single target, and this all comes down to what stage you're at in the game. So if you're running dungeons and that's all you're doing and you're just trying to get the AD maybe to kit out a second loadout, but you've got enough to kit out your first loadout, then for dungeons specifically I would say go single target, and I will tell you why in just a second. But if you're going with campaigns and all that, you don't need to go AoE. You don't need to you don't need to pay for all these different companions for your AoE loadout, because obviously I think you can go with the Mystagogue, you can go with the Regis, Wayward Wizard. I know I've missed some out, but for the single target you're going to need the Pseudo Dragon, or however you say it, I don't know. But you're going to need the dragon for single target. Now the reason I'm telling you to kit out your single target is because you become a lot more helpful and much more viable when it comes to dungeons. The mobs aren't really a big thing in dungeons. The mobs will die. But you're going to want to be as helpful as you can be when it comes to the bosses, which is why you're going to, obviously the Pseudo Dragon, the Bileforn, you're going to need the Batiri. There are many costly things when it comes to single target that is just going to boost your damage so much. And the reason I'm telling you to work on your single target is because originally you've got two loadouts. You're going to have one AoE, one single target, right? So you're going to kit out your single target and you're going to give your single target loadout everything that it needs, because that's what you've got your AD for. And you're just going to kit him out. You might not have enough to get your bolsters or whatever, but just hear me out. Focus on the single target, get your single target where it needs to be, to the point where, you know, you're doing pretty well in dungeons when it comes to bosses. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to your single target loadout. And once you're on your single target loadout, go to your AoE loadout and click triangle on PS4, which is overwrite with current. I think it's Y on Xbox, I'm not sure on PC, but you overwrite with current. What this will do, your single target loadout will then become your AoE loadout. Now I know it's not viable, but hear me out. There is one aspect of that AoE loadout you only need to change. Yes, you've got the single target companions, you've got the Bileforn, all that, you've got the gear. But you're going to go and click to switch loadouts to the AoE, and you're going to go down to powers. So on the single target, you're going to have your single target powers. If you're a rogue, you'll probably have Wiki Reminder, Lashing Blade, and Assassinate. If you're something else, you're something else. And then what you're going to do, you're going to switch your single target. Don't forget you're on your AoE build. You're going to switch your single target powers for your AoE powers. So whichever ones of your powers are your AoE powers, put them on this AoE build. Along with your daily, along with your class features. You might have to retrain the feats here, but just put your AoE ones on. And then, just like that, you are viable in AoE and single target damage, and you haven't even paid for an AoE loadout. You haven't paid to get the Wayward Wizard, you haven't paid to get the Mystagogue, you haven't paid to get the Lightning. You've typically just copy and pasted your single target build, you've clicked on your AoE build, and you've just changed the powers back to AoE rather than running single target. If you do this, guys, you will save a lot of AD. This is what I did originally, and if my AoE build wasn't kitted out already, I would continue doing it. It's much easier. So when you're in a dungeon, you start off on your AoE. Again, it's just your single target, but different powers. And then when you find a campfire at the first boss, you go to the campfire, you switch loadout to your single target, and you will then be single target. And when that boss is dead, you go to the next campfire, you switch back to AoE. Literally nothing changes apart from your powers, and you are viable on AoE and single target damage in that dungeon. Also, doing it this way, it means you can solo pretty much because there's a lot of mobs in the free open world of Neverwinter. You're going to need an AoE spec. So AoE will be there. It's just a single target but with different powers. It is viable. It'll get you through the campaigns, it'll get you through the dungeons, and it will cost you literally nothing more than what a single target build costs you. If this video helped you out, guys, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new and you want to see more Neverwinter content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.